Home and Away spoilers. Tim has a radical plan to help Abigail. Next week on Home and Away in the UK, Tim has a radical plan to help the Fowlers work through their issues, while Justin and Leah find themselves in a sticky situation. Last week saw Abigail attend her first counseling session with Tim Russell, after Levi convinced her to go to therapy to help get to the bottom of why she turned to drugs in the first place. Next week, despite making progress in the first session and agreeing to go back for more, Abby is struggling with the idea of another counseling session. At the farmhouse, she explains to housemate Marley that Tim has asked her to write a profile of her family members. While she's managed to do one for her parents, as soon as she gets to Eden, she freezes. Eden and Abby were estranged for years, with Abby believing that Eden abandoned her after their parents' marital breakdown. Marley reassures her that whatever she writes will stay between her and Tim, and encourages her to do the task. Seconds later, despite Marley and Abby now working together at manta ray boards, Eden turns up to offer to drive Abby to her shift, and it's clear there's still plenty of tension between the sisters. Later that day, when Eden finds manta ray boards unmanned and Abby's notebook on the counter, she takes a look. By that point, Abby has begun making notes for her profile of Eden, and upon opening the notebook, Eden finds Abby's words describing her: dominating, never listens, always does what she wants, thoughtless, unforgiving, selfish, controlling. Somewhat predictably, Abby returns just in time to find her sister rifling through her notes. She runs outside and heads down to the beach, and as Eden chases her, an explosive argument ensues. "Everything about you is wrong," Abby screams. "Why do you think I am so messed up?" Despite the obvious betrayal of trust that just occurred, Eden takes the opportunity to assure Abby that she didn't turn her back on her for the band, as Abby has always believed. "I had no idea that you felt that way," Eden explains. "You're my baby sister and I would never do anything on purpose to hurt you. You just read my journal," Abby points out, before telling Eden to go away. After cooling off, the pair later catch up at Salt, and Abby explains that Eden running off with the band wasn't the only thing that upset her when they were young. "Even when you were home, you didn't see me, it was always about you," she explains. "You hated Dad, so I had to hate Dad. I was never allowed to have my own voice, my own opinion. Even when I tried, you would just shut me down." When Abby tells her sister that she doesn't know if they'll ever be able to fix their issues, Eden has a brainwave, and suggests that she goes along with Abby to her counseling session the following day. The well-intentioned move backfires, as, the following morning, Eden gets a call from Tim, informing her that Abby has cancelled her appointment. When the three siblings reconvene at the farmhouse, Abby explains that she cancelled because Eden, who she already believed to be a control freak, tried to hijack her session. When Levi later tracks Abby down to outside the surf club in attempt to change her mind, Abby still claims she's not going to go. She tells her brother that Eden made it all about her by insisting she come to the session, just so she could feel better. "Eden can't muscle in on my session if I'm not going." Meanwhile, at the farmhouse, Eden is awaiting on word from Levi, when Tim turns up unexpectedly. Tim explains that he doesn't normally do house calls, but something felt off when Abby cancelled, so he thought he'd come and see for himself whether she's alright. Back at the surf club, Mackenzie tries talking Abby into heading back to the farmhouse to see Tim, pointing out how committed Tim must be for him to drive to their place. But there's no need, as Eden brings Tim straight to Salt, and Abby isn't best pleased to be ambushed. Tim goes to talk to her alone, and Abby explains how overwhelming everything is and how she doesn't want to open up about her issues. Tim tells her that if she doesn't, there's a risk she'll try to numb the pain in other ways. Tim later lets Eden know what a huge breach of trust it was for her to read her diary, and tells her there's something she can do to make it up to her. As the Shaws all reconvene at the farmhouse, with things more tense than ever, Tim tells Eden, Tim and Abby that he thinks they could benefit from a family counseling session. As the Fowler siblings reluctantly sit down in the rotunda and begin to open up to each other on their troubled childhood, will the counselor's radical idea finally help them get to the bottom of their issues? Later, Tim heads to Salt to check in on Eden. He's realized that she's battling her own demons, and figures that the other problems in her personal life are hindering her progress at fixing the rift with her sister. But as the night goes on and the pair bond over drinks, is a connection beginning to form between Tim and Eden. Elsewhere, Justin and Leah have departed Summer Bay for their second honeymoon, in an attempt to repair their relationship after Leah accused Justin of cheating on her with Claudia. They've had a relaxed day, and it's clear that it's brought them closer together. When their massage therapist cancels, they decide to head into the empty indoor pool instead. As Justin realizes there's no one around, he suggests that they take a skinny dip. "Justin Morgan, you are a bad influence," smiles Leah, before stripping off and joining her husband in the water. Unfortunately for them, they have no idea that the pool is on CCTV, and their antics are being broadcast straight into the hotel reception, where a very annoyed hotel manager is watching their every move. Is their second honeymoon about to come to a very embarrassing end?